I want to start the way one of the most famous Harvard courses starts, with a story. Imagine you're the driver of a trolley car, and your trolley is flying down the track 60 miles an hour. At the end of the track, you see 5 workers. You try to brake, but the brakes don't work. You know for sure that if you go straight, they will die. So your heart drops. You feel desperate, helpless. Then you notice there's a side track. And on that side track, there's one worker. And your steering wheel works. You can turn the trolley car into the side track, kill that one person, and save 5 persons. So here's the question for you. What would you do? For most people, almost instinctively, they say, I turn. Better one dies than 5. Okay, so let's change the story. This time, you're not the driver. You're an onlooker, standing on a bridge. Down the track comes the trolley car again, and the brakes don't work. There are 5 workers ahead, and standing next to you is a very, very large man leaning over the bridge. And you realize that if you push him, he'll fall on the track and stop the trolley. He'll die. But the 5 will live. So now, a new question. Would you push him? Because most people will suddenly go, wait, no, that feels wrong. And that's the moment the class gets you. Because you start to realize something uncomfortable. Even the math is the same. Our moral instinct changes depending on how the situation is framed. And the professor asks the real question. What happened to the principle we all agreed to 5 seconds ago? Better one should die so that 5 may live. Why did it feel okay when we turned a steering wheel, but not okay when we used our hands? And then the professor says something that always stays with me. Philosophy doesn't always give you new information. It takes what you think you already know, and then it makes it strange. Once the familiar turns strange, it's never quite the same again. And here is why I'm telling you this today, because that is exactly what AI is doing to us right now. AI is not just giving us answer, but it exposes how we think, how we decide, how we judge, and what feels right. Why start this? Because this is exactly what's happening with AI right now. AI isn't just changing what we do, it's revealing how we decide. Did you know that what feels like an AI explosion today actually started quietly years ago? And most of us didn't notice this, not because it wasn't important, but because it didn't change our lives all at once. It crept in. Did you know when all this really started? Most people think AI suddenly appeared last year or 2. But conversational AI, the kind we are using today, started becoming practical around 2018-2020, and that's when large language models learned something crucial. Not just how to store information, but how to predict the meaning in human language. And still back then, it stayed in labs. Researchers used it, and developers experimented with it. Most working adults had no reason to care. And then came November 2022, and that's when OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public. There were no training required, no manual, just a text box. And suddenly, millions of people realized this thing can talk. And within 5 days, ChatGPT hit 1 million users, faster than Facebook, Netflix, or Instagram ever did. And that wasn't hype, that was relief. People finally had a tool that listened. Did you know why it spread so fast? It wasn't because it was perfect. It wasn't. It made mistakes it had hallucinated, it sounded confident even when it was wrong. But for the first time, people could organize their thoughts, draft emails without anxiety to prepare presentations faster, ask questions that they were too embarrassed to ask humans. And here's the part that most people miss. AI didn't replace skills first. It reduced friction. Friction in your thinking, friction in your writing, friction in starting. And that changed daily life. Then something interesting happened. Companies started watching and they realized that if people are already talking to AI, why not bring AI to where they already work? That's when Microsoft introduced Copilot, not as a separate app, but embedded inside Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams. And this was a big shift. AI stopped being something you visited. It became something you delegated it to. And you find that emails got shorter, slides got faster, and meetings got summaries instead of memories. And for many professionals, this meant that there is really less exhaustion, but also less thinking. And that's not criticism, it's observation. Did you know that Google responded differently? Google didn't focus on conversation, they focused on knowledge. And that's how Google introduced Gemini. Gemini was designed to search better, summarize faster, connect the text, images, documents, and videos. And this mattered because it changed how people learn. And students stopped Googling 10 links. Professionals stopped opening 5 tabs. Answers became immediate. But something else happened too. People started consuming more, reflecting less. Again, this is not wrong, it's just different. And then came the AI that surprised people, Claude. Did you know that Claude was built to be careful on purpose? It was created by Anthropic, and Claude wasn't designed to impress you. It was designed to slow you down. Claude is cautious, it's balanced, and it's deliberate. And you feel that immediately. So let me give you real examples. Imagine you're writing feedback to a struggling employee, a message during restructuring, a policy that affects real lives, and you ask Claude for help. And instead of one bold answer, Claude often gives you multiple perspectives, possible interpretations, risks that you may not have considered. At first, that may feel annoying, and you think to yourself, why not give me a simple answer? But that hesitation is the point. Claude isn't optimizing for speed, it's optimizing for impact. And did you know that Claude handles complexity differently? Claude is especially good with long documents, contracts, policies, research, multi-page briefs. Where other tools compress aggressively, Claude preserves the nuance. It doesn't just tell you what was written, it told you where the tensions exist. When Claude feels slow, it's often because we want certainty faster than the situation itself. So Claude quietly asks, are you okay with how this might land? And this is really not a technical question. That's a leadership one. And did you know there's an AI designed more like a research assistant than a conversational partner? And that's Perplexity. Perplexity doesn't want to brainstorm with you. It doesn't want to write a story. It doesn't want to speculate. It wants answers that are backed by sources, clear, verifiable, and traceable. And how Perplexity feels different when you ask a Perplexity question, it doesn't just reply. It often gives you a summary of relevant facts, a list of sources, citations, and sometimes tables or structured breakdowns, and quick links so that you can check the origin of what it's saying. And this matters because this encourages verification. It encourages critical thinking, and it encourages you to check who said what. In a world where information feels fast and unreliable, Perplexity forces you to slow down. Not in a Claude-style mode of caution, but in a mode of truth verification. And then there's one more AI that changes the frame entirely. Did you know there's an AI designed not around documents or verification, but around what people are talking right now? And that's Grok, built by XAI. And the moment you use it, you feel the difference. Grok doesn't feel like a researcher. It doesn't feel like an editor. It doesn't feel like a careful advisor. It feels like someone who just walked into the room and said, "Have you seen what's trending today?" And here's what makes Grok different. Most AI tools are trained to be stable, filtered, polished, and Grok is plugged into live conversation. Breaking news, viral debates, real-time reactions. So if ChatGPT helps you to think aloud, Claude helps you to think carefully, and Perplexity helps you to check your facts, Grok helps you to feel the pulse of the moment. And that reveals something uncomfortable about us. Because when we use Grok, we often not looking for the truth. We are looking for relevance. We want to know what's blowing up right now. What are people reacting to? And what might matter today, even if it won't matter next week. Grok is a powerful thing for content creators, social media, teams, people tracking, and public sentiment. Anyone who lives in fast-moving environments. So here's the point. AI isn't just a tool, it's a mirror. ChatGPT shows our need for help. Copilot shows our need for speed. Gemini shows our hunger for knowledge. And Claude shows our need for care. Perplexity shows our need for truth. And Grok shows our need to stay current. AI reveals how we think, how we decide, and what we value. And at the end of the day, the real question isn't what will AI do next, but what will we choose to do with AI? If you like this video, remember to comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.